Team Fortress 2 is an old game. A really old game. A game that's outlived many of the games that came before and after it. Being released on the 10th of October 2007, Team Fortress 2 wasn't sold by itself, but was in fact sold in a game bundle known as the Orange Box. But you guys already know this stuff, right? What I'm really trying to get at here is that TF2 is old and has gone through some of the biggest changes in its 10-year lifespan. So let's compare and contrast, eh? It's like looking at the results of a botched plastic surgery. It'll be fun. I mean, come on, it's had 624 updates since launch. They must have messed up something. Possibly the most obvious change to Team Fortress 2 since its release is its user interface, going from the default boring source engine game menu to its own unique, easy to navigate menu that matches the art style of the game fairly well, although it might need to be patched out due to being too confusing for new players. Even though most players familiar with the game will and have used custom HUDs, the default heads-up display isn't that bad and hasn't changed too much from release. Only really killstreak, head, and other weapon-specific counters and bars have been added since release. All around, pretty good improvements in this area. I'm sure this will be a constant theme, right? For textures and lighting, it seems that TF2 has kind of downgraded in some of these areas. I'm not kidding. The stock weapons used to have details like scuff marks and scratches that even shined in lighting, but now it's much more minimal and matches the player models and other weapons a bit better. Plus, the base 5 maps on launch, Dust Bowl 2, Fort Gravel Pit, Hydro, and Granary, have all gotten messed up lighting maps in certain areas. Now, while this might seem bad, it's only really because since TF2's release, the game has gotten a different lighting tool that kinda messed up the lighting for only the launch maps. The other levels, they're fine. Believe me, don't check. Did you like those transitions? Well, I hope you don't miss them because this segment is going to be longer than the time it takes for me to upload. Due to the complexity that TF2 has achieved, of course. I think to keep this simple, I'll first cover the game modes, maps, and features like trading and crafting in the Manco store, then individually talk about each of the classes and their changes over the years. Since its initial launch, TF2 has added 16 game modes, not including the awesome Halloween game modes. Back on launch, there were only 5 maps and 3 game modes, those being Capture the Flag, the one nobody played, and the free variations of control points, 2CP, 5CP, and symmetrical CP. TF2 later evolved and expanded by introducing many things that were foreign to first-person shooters back in the day, such as a virtual store in which you can buy items with real money. Remember that the closest thing to this was Microsoft Points with the Xbox 360, and TF2 got a trading system that not only predates Steam's own trading, but also helped make a functioning trade community with its own self-made and regulated economy. I mean, seriously, name one other FPS that has a trading community and economy system that's similar to TF2. Okay, well I guess there's CSGO, but that's still made by Valve, And how could I ever forget crafting? The thing that helped trading grow, and is the hipster of crafting systems in video games. It did crafting before crafting was cool. Although the crafting system is about as realistic as the game's art style. Yeah, I'd like to see someone try to take a pile of old rusty scrap metal and put it on a sandwich and make a fucking chocolate bar! Onto the classes in the game, we're starting with the Scout. The Scout himself hasn't had many changes in terms of base speed, damage, or health count. The same goes for his guns, other than his pistol being now able to auto-fire by holding down M1, instead of only shooting once per click. The same goes for the Engineer's pistol, but we'll get back to the Harvey Survivor later. The Scout has accumulated over 40 weapons, including reskins, stock, and all class. This will apply to all other classes, and 130 cosmetics. So that roughly totals up to 170 items in total for the Scout. The heavily American rocket-jumping wannabe veteran is a little bit of a different story from the Scout, having a reserve ammo count change from 36 to 16, then back up to 20, and the blast radius of his rockets being increased just a little bit. Plus, he used to have a 40% resistance to his own rocket, soon being applied to different items and weapons over the years. The helmet-wearing Hellion has gathered up a less impressive 37 weapons and 123 cosmetics, totaling up to 160 items for the explosion-addicted Patriot. Whether you like him or not, the Pyro can be quite an entertaining class to play as, although requiring the knowledge of the W and M1 buttons to play as, so this might be a hard class to get into. The Flame Retardant Brony hasn't had much in terms of changes since launch, but has managed to swipe up 39 weapons, the majority being melee weapons, which I don't understand, and 169 cosmetics. This number's up to 208 items in total. God damn, son! Moving on to defensive classes, the Black Scotsman has gone through quite a little bit more changes since launch than your average merc, such as his grenade launcher and sticky bomb launcher's reserve ammo, the grenade launcher's ammo going down from 30 to 16, and the sticky launcher's ammo going from 40 down to 24. Plus his sticky bomb's damage was nerfed a little bit, including his pipe's explosion radius being increased. But thanks to the introduction of shields, the new tumor of a playstyle known as demoniting was made history, technically creating a 10th class. Now then, the Black Scottish Demolition Expert Swordsman Cyclops has collected 125 hats and 36 weapons, totaling up to 161 items in total. You like miniguns? You like Russians? You'll love the Heavy. Although, if you like simplistic backstories, the Heavy only really had that until the comics started coming out, revealing the bear wrestler's family that had been saved from a gulag 20 years prior after their father was found out to be an anti-communist freedom fighter. Remember when the Heavy's character was a gun-loving Russian? Well, anyways, the Heavy really hasn't got any massive changes to him or his stock weapon since launch, but he did get a sandwich, so that's always nice. Speaking of extra weapons, the Heavy has gotten 34 of them, and has collected 125 cosmetics, all around having a total of 159 items. Ah yes, everyone's favorite hated Texan. Now, let's see what's different about him. Oh, he used to be unable to pick up and reposition his buildings, and his tillies and dispensers were unupgradable past level 1. And his pistol's reserve ammunition is still 200 for some fucking reason. Oh, and the respectable redneck has also wrangled up a good 121 cosmetics alongside 24 weapons, one of the lowest selections of weapons out of all the classes in the game. Combined, the tech-savvy Texan has gotten 145 items in total since launch. Moving on to support, the only actual supportive class in the game, known as the Medic, has had some really positive changes since launch to make him more fun and satisfying to play as, such as his speed being increased if his heal target is faster than him, and his uber rate being multiplied before a match begins. Alongside this, the Medic has been given even better toys than just his pea shooter of a Nerf gun to defend himself, plus 3 different unique ways of healing and ubering to change the tide of a match. The possible ex-Nazi has been given 23 weapons, the lowest amount in the game, and 124 cosmetics, totaling up to 137 items given since launch. Now, I usually argue that the sniper was added to attract COD kids, and later down the line it really does seem like it, but we also have to remember that the sniper was also in Team Fortress Classic, which predates Call of Duty by a number of years, and TF2 was released a month before COD 4, the birth of Call of Duty quickscoping. Nonetheless, the sniper has been nearly untouched in terms of base balance, but has gathered 32 murder toys and 101 cosmetics, 133 items in total. And how could we forget the dime a dozen backstabbing scumbag that we all love to hate, the Spy? Possible father of the Scout, and the most powerful of newbie magnets, the Spy has also gotten no contact with the Nerf hammer, only really getting a slight speed buff that made him go from annoying but easy to kill to absolutely fucking unfair to fight against. Thanks, Gaben. Before I go on some type of rant, let's get to the item counts that I know you guys are totally not getting tired of. The French fucklord has been given 27 weapons, none of which happen to be a white flag, and 86 cosmetics, the lowest number of clothing for any class, rounding up in total to 113 items, the lowest amount of items for a single class in one game, which is totally deserved. Hashtag not salty. Did I just say a hashtag? God damn it. And that's all she wrote. TF2 has been around for 10 good years, and I'm happy to see this game still having a thriving community. But, I mean, with all these changes, it's kinda hard not to get tired of the game. Unless you're any of these guys. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This took me way longer than necessary due to my microscopic attention span, so I'm sorry for that. Here's to another 10 years. Happy 10th birthday, TF2!